Alright, folks. Hopefully, you guys can hear me now. I wonder if any of you guys will actually be in this live stream. We've been having some audio issues, but hopefully, you guys can hear us. Alright, folks. Yeah, you guys can hear us. There's just no one here. Welcome, folks. I'm sorry about the problems we were having earlier with the live stream. Me and Messin just had a late night production meeting trying to get my audio sorted out. So shout out to Messin for fixing my audio, helping me fix my audio. So sounds great. Perfect, folks. Awesome. Welcome. Apologies to the people who came into the earlier live stream. We were having some audio issues. I couldn't. The audio was just messed up. So now it's fixed, and yeah, it's better now. So that's good, folks. Thank you all so much for being here. We will get started shortly, talking about some big news with Apple. Although I'm gonna be honest with you, folks, it's pretty much rumors at this point. But with that being said, I do want to share with you guys the rumors and the rumblings that I'm hearing. And in fact, I'm hearing some rumblings from one very interesting source. Because here's the thing, folks. I called Messin earlier today and I was like, yo, man, are you hearing about this Apple news? And he was like, no. And so I looked into it some more. And then where I originally heard this Apple news of Apple potentially buying into Bitcoin was from like this fake Elon account. And so I kind of dismissed it. But later on the day, I found this tweet from this more reputable source. And so now I'm hearing this Apple news from a few different places. I want to address the rumors. And folks, I want to be clear with you guys. At this point, it's just rumors. Nothing set in stone. But with that being said, let's share some rumors. Because there's some very, very interesting rumors that we will delve into for sure. So, how is everyone doing? Thank you all for being here. Let's see what you guys are saying. It's not, by the way, it's just not the Apple news we have to discuss. We have a shit ton more to discuss. We have a bullish breakout with Bitcoin testing critical resistance. We got some ETH stuff to discuss, and altcoins are taking off. So, thank you all for joining me on this kind of late night live stream. Well, late night for me, depending where you guys are from. People buy rumors all the time, says Stephen Austin. And yes, Stephen Austin, these may very well be complete rumors, and it could all be bullshit. And tomorrow, whenever, this could all turn out to be, a complete waste of everyone's time. But with that being said, I did want to make a live stream talking about it before it happens, just in case it happens. So that's that. But again, folks, we got Ethereum news to discuss, altcoin stuff to discuss. Altcoins are doing great. So it's super interesting stuff. Because look, here's the thing. A lot of people talking about bear market. But do we really see altcoins do, 3x's in a bear market? And that's what we're seeing with some of these coins. So we're definitely going to delve into some of that. So folks, do me that favor. Like and subscribe. Because the more likes we get, the less sound issues we will have. And so on and so forth. So I'm just finishing up here on my end. I should be fully free here. I saw one person saying, why don't you start your live streams once you're fully ready? That's a very good suggestion, that one person. But to that one person, I say that there's only, due to our setup, there are certain things that we gotta do after we go live. So once we go live, we have 1 or 2 minutes worth of stuff and links and buttons and copying and pasting we have to do. So folks, bear with me. I promise I will make it up to you with tons of great goings on in this market today. In the meanwhile, just smash that like button if you're bored, because the more likes we get, the more reviews we get. So definitely smash that like button. Folks, there's a reason why you see all these cringy YouTubers find cringy ways to shill the like button, and that's because the more likes you get, the more views you get. So if you like the channel, smash that like button. Okay. Alright, that's enough from my end. Now, before we start, there's the obligatory hydration. Folks, you're not gonna find that kind of hydration anywhere else. Like and subscribe. I see someone, Maker Maximus, saying he broke the like button. I need some confirmation of this trend. I need everyone to hit that like button and tell me if in fact you're able to break it. Smash that like button, folks. Okay, by the way, so I'm going to purposefully wait before I mention this Apple news, so you guys can keep watching for a second. Because look, briefly before we get into this Apple news, let's discuss what's going on with Bitcoin here. So I busted out a lot of lines here, but don't you go panicking. These lines mean stuff. So number one of these lines, this red line, from kind of this peak here to this peak here, it is a trend line, a resistance line. And guess what, folks? We have broken above this red trend line, which, in my astute technical analysis opinion, I'm going to give you folks an inside scoop on some industry terminology that we use in the business to describe this kind of movement. And folks, buckle up, get ready, because this is what we call muy bueno. This is indeed muy bueno, because not only have we broken above this red trend line, but we're above this blue line. Not this blue line, not this blue line, but this blue line. And this blue line is significant because that blue line is it's either the 21 EMA on the daily or SMA. Either way, folks, let's double check here. Yeah, that is the simple moving average. So this blue line is the 21 simple moving average. This is significant because the 21 simple moving average has been acting as resistance all throughout Bitcoin's recovery rallies. Here resistance, here resistance, here resistance as well. It's been acting as strong resistance. Same with the 21 EMA on the daily. So the 21 simple moving average and exponential moving average are both currently at the zone we're at. Super critical for calling short-term price action, short-term resistance for Bitcoin. So not only, oh sorry, background music is annoying. Yeah, my bad, folks. Sorry. And let me shut this live stream. Will commence shortly. It's already commenced. So folks, not only have we broken above our red trend line, but we have broken above the blue line, and we are testing the red line. So if we can test the red line and then a second blue line, then we can test the white line. And if we can get above the white line, we can test the third blue line. And if we test and get above the third blue line, folks, I'll meet you at 100K. So, in summary, these two moving averages, 21 EMA and SMA on the daily, have been acting as short-term resistance. Also, by the way, I busted out these Bollinger Bands. For those who don't know, Bollinger Bands are essentially a short-term support / resistance range, one with a standard deviation of 2 and another of 3. And typically, whenever we enter this in-between zone, it typically signals us being overextended to one direction or the other. So typically speaking, whenever we go in between our deviation to the downside, typically means we're oversold, unless you could long there. And whenever you enter the upside deviation, that typically means we're overbought, and you either close your long or enter short there. So this is one strategy, folks. Like this works perfectly. So imagine you bust out your Bollinger Bands, one with standard deviation of 2 and the other of 3. You long here when we're in between the two, and then you sell here when we're in between the two on the upper end. So this is one strategy. Me and Messin sometimes use pretty regularly. But what's interesting about the Bollinger Bands right now is that we're squeezed in a tight range. So whenever you see Bollinger Bands get really squeezed together like that, it typically signals that a big move is coming. And given that we broke above that red trend line, broke above, like folks, Bitcoin's been breaking above resistance. So the first wedge line was something like this. We broke above, came back down. But then I drew another one to this kind of high, and so we're fully above kind of whatever wedge resistance you could have drawn. We're also above the 21 simple moving average on the daily. So if we can get above the 21 EMA on the daily, basically 34,400, then we can test the 50 daily simple moving average. And folks, this white line is super significant. Folks, we're going to get to the Apple news. Like and subscribe, but let me just first hover on why this price action is significant. The 50 daily simple moving average was the bedrock of support during the bull run. We never dropped below. As soon as we did, we had a 50% crash. So super price reactive, high time frame, significant moving average. And if we can get above this goddamn red line, then I think we can test that white line. And if we can get above that white line, then folks, the bull run has a fighting chance of coming back. And I do still believe that there are some good arguments to be made that the bull run is here to stay and the bull run is indeed coming back. So we're testing the 21 EMA on the daily right now. Hopefully we can get above that. If we can, very good news. So folks, without further ado, I want to bring you guys kind of this Apple news. But don't you go fumbling or flooding away anywhere, because there's still some more ETH news, some altcoin news, give you guys a portfolio update, and some news in generals we still got to go through. So let's talk about that, because I know I put that in the headline there. So folks, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that Apple is going to announce some kind of Bitcoin purchase. Now at this point, I just want to make it very clear, these are all rumors. There is nothing substantive to substantiate these rumors, but I've heard this from enough places where I do think it's something kind of fun to consider. And so I'm hearing rumblings that come Monday, Apple has a big announcement that they're gonna announce that they've purchased over $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. And again, folks, I've heard this from a few Twitter accounts. I've heard some Reddit rumblings, okay? But I thought it was kind of nothing until I saw kind of this. So for those who don't know, Coach K, popular YouTuber, he's a very knowledgeable analyst. He stated himself that apparently he has connections to a company who helped Tesla and Apple and MicroStrategy purchase Bitcoin. And he's suggesting that Apple, at least he's addressing this Apple rumors. So he's saying everyone acting like, oh my god, Apple buying Bitcoin. I literally told you all this on Live Crypto Banter like 2 months back. I believe the same time I told everyone Cardano will be going onto Coinbase. So folks, why is he addressing this right now? Well, there's been, again, some rumors based off some Reddit rumblings and some tweets that Apple will be announcing this tomorrow. And so whether it happens or not, I don't know. At the end of the day, folks, this is all just rumors. But the fact that, Coach K, a reputable person, knowledgeable person, has contacts within the industry, is saying that, they know the company who helped, OTC transactions for Tesla and Apple and MicroStrategy is interesting. So we'll see if this manifests into anything. Again, folks, this is all just rumors and speculation. But the fact that Coach K is saying that, kind of suggesting that there is, not denying the announcement is interesting. We have one person saying here it's all fake news, dude. Saying LOL, okay, I'll believe my OTC sources. That's interesting. He's saying he's believing the OTC sources. What do the OTC sources know that we don't? Why would he be addressing this out of the blue if there weren't some kind of, if the rumors weren't valid to some degree or the other? So, again, folks, this is not a lot. We're really grasping for at straws here, but this was some interesting rumors and goings on that I didn't want to mention to you guys. And Coach K is a reputable person. He has many connections throughout the industry. And so if Coach K is saying that, hey, he has some OTC sources saying, hey, this looks interesting, Apple may be announcing something. I mean, he's not directly saying anything outright. But I mean, folks, like, look at the context. He's, reading between the lines here. So we'll see if anything comes of this. I do want to say that if Apple announces that they're purchasing Bitcoin, I mean, bull run's back. I mean, I think Coach K is here saying it's already priced in. Everyone knew 2 months ago. I mean, I really have to disagree with Coach K in that situation. Like, he's saying, oh, it's already priced in. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. You don't think if Apple announces that they purchased Bitcoin, there's going to be a whole lot of new buying pressure for Bitcoin? There's going to be a shit ton of buying pressure for Bitcoin. I mean, folks, if we look at kind of the Bitcoin chart here, I can tell you exactly when Elon Musk and Apple announced when they were getting into Bitcoin. I think it was like roughly around this price action. I remember this very clearly. So around this price action is when Elon announced. I think it was like this candle right here. And then look what led afterwards. That's going to be nothing if Apple announces. And again, folks, let's not get our hopes up. This is really nothing. We have rumors. We have Twitter and Reddit rumblings. This is not anything substantive at all. Please take this with the biggest grain of salt in the world. But let's just have some fun here for a second. All right, like, I wasn't even going to bring this up until I saw Coach K addressing these rumors. And also Coach K saying he has some, kind of some sources saying, hey, this might not be the craziest thing, is super, super interesting. So, he's also saying, he thinks this is priced in. I definitely do not think this is priced in. If Apple announced that, the amount of FOMO, the amount of new buying pressure, the amount of retail that would kick in would be insane. It would be enough to start getting us above critical high time frame moving averages. Like, if Apple announced, I mean, we could jump a couple $1,000s in like an hour. Again, folks, this is rumors. Nothing might come of it. In fact, the most likely thing is that absolutely nothing will come of this. The most likely thing is that tomorrow there will be no new news. So again, please, let's not get our hopes up too much. But there's some interesting rumors, right? So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, folks, I mean, come on, Coach K. I think Coach K has been a little bit too cynical here. Like, the amount of FOMO would be amazing. It would be enough FOMO to probably get us above 35,700. If we get above 35,700, get daily candles closing above that, we get above that 50 daily SMA. We get above that 50 daily SMA. That starts to look like Bitcoin is super strong. Again, folks, the 50 daily SMA was the bedrock of support throughout Bitcoin's bull run. First major correction, we never fell through it. Another major correction, we never fell through it. Back in 2017, extremely relevant. As soon as we broke below it, got rejected off it, beginning of a massive sell-off. Like, folks, this is the first layer of critical resistance that we need to break above. And if we do, I would argue that it starts to look a lot more like a bull run if we get above that 50 daily SMA. Apple announcing that, sure shit, could get us above that 50 daily SMA. If we get above that, we can test the 200 daily EMA here at kind of 39,400. If we can get above that, then we can test 41,000. We can test 41,500. If we can do that, we can make a higher high. If we make a higher high, it looks like we broke the bearish price structure. And if we've broken the bearish price structure, buyers are going to come into this market. And if buyers come into this market and we retest this trend line from all-time highs to the next lower high and get above it, then in that case, folks, I think there's a strong case to be made that we're going to 100,000 Bitcoin and maybe beyond this year. So, again, we'll see, folks. This may turn into nothingness. In fact, it's most likely that this is just a complete rumor that will turn into nothing. Most likely scenario is that Bitcoin could just continue to move sideways for a couple weeks, couple months, and then recover or break down. I personally lean towards us still being in a bull market. It does seem like we're trying to get above this 21 daily EMA. Very, very good to see. If we can get above that and hold above that, basically 34,400, 500, then we can test this white line. Folks, that white line we have got to get above. If we can get above that white line, very, very good sign. And meanwhile, before we talk more about some very interesting Bitcoin price action, let's see what you guys are saying. So Christopher is saying the real question is, why would you Why would Apple not buy crypto? That's a fantastic question. Why would anyone not buy crypto? I don't know. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Why would anyone be in the stock market? Doesn't make any sense. Stock market's a rigged game propped up by the American government. As soon as they decide to stop printing money, it's all going to shit. Crypto is the asset class where you can make the most money in the world. And yeah, it's super volatile, but the rules of the game are clear to everyone. So crypto is an asset class where the rules of the game are clear to everyone. You may not understand them, but they're out there and they're clear. And it's the market with the most return on investment. So why would you choose to make less money in the stock market? I don't know. There's arguments of diversification. There's arguments that crypto is perceived to be unsafe. But if your focus is return on investment, then it doesn't make any sense to be in the stock market. It would make all the sense in the world to be in crypto. But what do I know? I'm just the guy who made 100x on Matic Polygon, right? So yeah, folks. Also, I want to talk to you guys about the weekly chart for Bitcoin. So there's been a clear base of support forming here at around 33,500 to about 30,000 for Bitcoin, where buyers come into the market, step in, and they take over from the bears and they drive the price back up. Super interesting to see that bears have not been able to drive us down below this range. Also, if we go to the weekly, we just had a weekly candle closing above the 50 EMA on the weekly. This is very good to see. This is a moving average that's held as support all throughout our sell-off here, folks. So if we have a weekly candle close below this thing, that is a very bad sign. In that case, it would be far more likely that the bears have more strength and we could see further downside movement if we have a daily candle close below this 50 weekly EMA, which we've held as support all throughout the downtrend here. We do not get weekly candle bodies closing below it. I mean, sure, we can wick down, that's fine, but as long as the body candle doesn't close below it, that's a good sign. As soon as we start to see weekly candle bodies close below it, that's a sign that the market is weak, and that's what we don't want to see. So for now, we had a weekly candle close above it. Good to see. We'll see if that does indeed continue. So once regulation gets in, people will flock to XRP. Man, I hope you XRP guys are right. I just don't think you are, but I hope you're right, man. Has BTC ever dropped below the 50 SMA and later gone above it again, continuing the bull market? It has, but it was very early days where it did so. So let's zoom out and see exactly where Bitcoin fell below the 50 daily SMA simple moving average and then got back above it. So this is 2017 over here. Actually, no. Throughout 2017, we never dropped below it. Never dropped below it. This white line, as soon as we did, crash, it was the end. Yeah. Yeah, folks, no bueno. And also, yeah, no. Also, by the way, I want to keep hovering on the weekly chart here because I'm seeing some super interesting goings on that I do not see a whole lot of people talking about. So, folks, let me change these colors, that way you guys can see this a bit better. The weekly time frame is looking tremendously bullish, and I want to show you guys why. Weighted MACD on the weekly, which is a leading indicator for the MACD, has had a bullish crossover, extremely oversold. Let's take a look at the last times we did this. We're oversold and had bullish crossovers, and let's see how price action reacted, just as a bit of a fun exercise to kind of get a sense of what these high time frame momentum shifts can result in. So bear with me, folks. And then meanwhile, while I'm doing this, if you want to entertain yourself with smashing that like button, I would appreciate it, because more likes we get, more views we get. So if you like me, you like the channel, definitely smash that like button. And that's why we do it, folks. We don't do it because we enjoy sounding cringy. We do it because literally we'll get more views. So smash that like button. Now, all right, folks. Weekly MACD, super interesting. Let's look at the last times we had bullish crossovers when we were oversold. So whenever the momentum shifted to the bullish side. So here, bullish crossover, uptrend, 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 bullish crossover, downtrend. So, is anyone getting a sense of what could happen when we have a bullish crossover, which signals a momentum shift? I mean, folks, this is not the end-all be-all. We shouldn't place all our eggs in one basket, but it is super interesting to see. Not only is the weighted MACD super interesting to see, but so is the stochastic RSI. So please, folks, bear with me. Let's do this exact same exercise with the stochastic RSI on the weekly, because this is super interesting. Let's go to the stochastic RSI on the weekly. Let's see here. And folks, look, I do believe, oh, I love this. Look at this. Look at this. It's curving up. We might have a bullish crossover. So, let's do the same thing. Highlight bullish crossovers in the oversold region to try and get a sense of what happens to price action. Again, folks, what happened in the past, not a guarantee of what could happen in the future, but it is interesting to note how these momentum shifts can play out. And the key word there is can, because it's not a guarantee that they will play out as they did in the past. So let's just throw a bunch of these to see what's going on. Okay, so these are the bullish crossovers on the stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is a leading indicator for the regular RSI. So bullish crossover uptrend, bullish crossover uptrend, bullish crossover uptrend, bullish crossover downtrend, bullish crossover uptrend, 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 bullish crossover uptrend. So, is anyone getting a sense here of what happens when we have a bullish crossover? Again, what happened in the past is not a guarantee of what could happen in the future, but the point I'm trying to get at here is that these high time frame indicators have been greatly reset, so that okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. I think any recovery, if we do get a recovery, is primed to see continuation, because these high time frame indicators are perfectly set for any kind of uptrend to see continuation. Not to mention the kind of accumulation we've been seeing, not to mention that Bitcoin and Ethereum are leaving exchanges, not entering, the opposite of what you would expect, entering a bear trend. We're seeing large wallets start to accumulate. Number of wallets holding 1 in 10 Bitcoin are accumulating, not what you'd expect to see during a bear market. Hash rate is recovering, which is historically good for the price action of Bitcoin here. Now, I thought I had it pulled up. I don't. Here it is. It's pulled up right here. Hash rate has been recovering. This is bullish. This is good for Bitcoin. If we keep putting in these higher highs and higher lows, this is good for Bitcoin. So, again, folks, none of this is the end all be all. But if we do have a break to the upside, if we can get above that goddamn 50 daily SMA, if we can get above that, then I think we're primed to see continuation. Again, what did we look at so far? We looked at the weekly weighted MACD, the weekly stochastic RSI. The vast majority of the times we were oversold and had these bullish crossovers, which signal momentum shifting from the kind of a bearish trend to a bullish trend. We've seen that the vast majority of the time that this has happened historically, we have had a uptrend following afterwards. Now, it's not just the weighted MACD. It's not just the stochastic RSI. Let's look at the MACD itself. This is another very fun exercise. And again, folks, bear with me while I get this all set up. Again, if you want to entertain yourselves in the meanwhile, smash that like button. I really appreciate it if you like the channel. More likes we get, more views we get. That's why I bring it up. So, let's take a look here at the what is this? Yeah, here at the MACD. Here we go. This is the MACD. This is the MACD on the weekly. Folks, we are extremely oversold. Very much oversold. And so let's highlight, when was the last time, not we had bullish crossovers, but whenever the weekly MACD histogram, the histogram are these bars for those who don't know, began to first move up, because this is super significant for kind of trying to time shifts in market momentum. So histogram starts to move up. Let's see when we're oversold and the momentum starts to shift from the oversold direction to the overbought direction. So basically from bearish to bullish. I'm going to highlight all the times in which momentum was to the bearish side, but then began to shift to the bullish side when we were oversold. So I hope you guys are tracking so far, and I believe it's going to be a very fun exercise, because history does not always repeat, but as one person in the comments has stated, history definitely rhymes. So again, this is coming back to my point that any kind of market recovery we have, I do think is primed to see continuation. So let me fix my one line here, and then we can come back to the point I'm making. So let's take a look here. This is the weekly price action. We see that the weekly MACD histogram is beginning to move up. Momentum on a high time frame is beginning to shift from the bearish side to the bullish side. Let's see what happened previous times. Similar things to happen. So oversold histogram starts to move upwards, uptrend. Histogram begins to move upwards, uptrend. Histogram begins to move upwards, uptrend for a week, but then a downtrend. So that one, let's just throw in the downtrend category. Histogram starts to move up over here, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. But let's look at the previous cycles. What did the previous cycles look like? So let's exaggerate the weekly MACD a bit here so you guys can hopefully see what we're pointing at here. So histogram begins to move up, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. Histogram moves up, uptrend. Is anyone starting to get a sense of a pattern here? Again, folks, I don't want us to get our hopes up too much, because it's totally possible that we could see more downside. With that being said, the momentum on high time frames is clearly shifting to the bullish side. And the last time similar things have happened, well, we've experienced an uptrend. And so, super interesting to see as well. One very popular model for calling long-term price action for Bitcoin is the stock to flow model. Stock to flow, for those who don't know, is essentially a model that kind of tracks the existing supply plus the incoming supply and how that's historically tracked with the market cap, and then you just extrapolate that to the future and you get these price prediction models. And so based on that stock to flow model, I think by the way, there's two stock to flow models. So the original stock to flow predicts Bitcoin just over 100,000, and the stock to flow model X predicts a Bitcoin over 200,000 this cycle. Plan B, who is the original creator of the stock to flow, favors the stock to flow model X, the second model that basically has a higher price prediction for Bitcoin, which incorporates, I believe, some silver and gold data. So basically, folks, what I'm trying to get at here is that these models predict Bitcoin at over 100,000 this year, this cycle. And this is the time in history in which we have most deviated from that model, which is super interesting. So let's see if we can actually find the stock to flow model here. Ratio. Oh, here it is. Yep. I don't know why they call it ratio. But basically, folks, according to stock to flow, they're predicting Bitcoin over 100,000 this year, and it has historically, tracked Bitcoin's price pretty well. I would say we often underperform and we often overperform. But let's say if you're a believer in the stock to flow, this is the most we've ever deviated from the stock to flow model, essentially saying we're extremely oversold. We are extremely oversold. So isn't it interesting that we're extremely oversold, and we're seeing high time frame indicators move from bearish to bullish, and we're seeing Bitcoin leave exchanges, not enter exchanges. We're seeing hash rate recover. We're seeing the amount of Ethereum held on exchanges drop through the floor. Folks, look at this. The number of Ethereum held on exchanges has been collapsing into nothingness. This is not what you see in a bear market. The less Ethereum held on exchanges, the less supply, the less selling pressure. So if demand is constant or increasing, but supply is decreasing, I'm not an economist, but price tends to go up. So folks, everything is there for a recovery to happen. But at the end of the day, price action is key. Price action dictates all. Because a lot of people on YouTube talk about their feelings and intuitions, and I see a lot of big players in the space talk about, based off their feelings and their gut, that the bull trend is going to continue, but nobody knows for sure. You got to follow price action. Price action tells a story. And right now, we are in a bear trend. We're still putting in macro lower highs and lower lows. We are still bearish. We have lost the 200 daily EMA, the 200 daily SMA, the 50 daily SMA, all critical high time frame moving averages. We are bearish. So for us to be confident of this bull market continuing, for us to be confident that these momentum shifts on the weekly, these news articles of adoption, these off-chain metrics, for us to be confident that this is going to result in the bull run continuing, for that to be the case, we have got to see certain things in the price action. We need to see three things. We need to see higher highs, higher lows, and we need to flip resistance into support. Until we do that, folks, we are not in a bull market. We have not done that yet. I need to make that very clear. I am bullish. I am optimistic. I am buying the dip. I could end up being wrong. I could go to sleep, wake up, and we could be below 30,000, heading on our way to 24 and then 20. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm betting it won't, but I could be wrong. Folks, we are in a bear trend. For us to be bullish again, we need to make an argument that we have broken the bearish price structure. For us to make that argument that we've broken the bearish price structure, we need to do those three things. Put in high time frame, higher highs, higher lows, and flip major resistance into support. So major resistance, these moving averages, 50 daily SMA, 200 daily EMA, 200 daily SMA. If we flip those into support, very bullish. Higher highs, the major relief rallies got rejected off kind of 42,000 here and here. So if we make a higher high above these regions, that's very bullish. If we can make, and then a higher low as well. So if we make a higher high, and then retrace and maybe make a higher low, very bullish as well. So if we can make a higher high, higher low, and flip these three major resistance levels into support, then in that case, the bull run can continue. But only in that case. Until we've done that, we're still very bearish. I see Steve Bob saying, we need a lot of freaking volume, need whales to pump it. That's another thing, folks. There is no volume in these markets right now. Super little volume. That is not what you want to see. The market's basically on standby mode. And again, folks, this Apple news, it may be nothing. I find it really funny. And look, I may be misinterpreting Coach K's tweet. Coach K saying how this Apple news is already priced in, but I highly disagree if that is indeed his position. Hopefully, I'm not misinterpreting what I read. If I am, apologies. But Coach K is basically saying that if this Apple news did indeed come out, that news is already priced in. I highly disagree. If Apple actually came out and said, we bought Bitcoin, there'd be a shit ton of buying pressure and thus volume coming to the market. And so if we have a bullish breakout with volume getting above resistance, that can see continuation. Also, just to kind of hover on this high time frame stuff, let's look at the daily and the daily RSI. And folks, I keep mentioning this, and I'm going to keep mentioning this because once it happens, everyone and their mother is going to be talking about this. And just understand that I've been saying this for months. The significance of this, well in advance, literally for months, I've been screaming from the rooftops almost every live stream, I try and mention this because it's extremely significant. The daily RSI. The daily RSI is everything in my opinion, because the daily RSI has a clear trend line acting as resistance. All throughout this cycle's parabolic growth, we were putting in higher highs paired with lower highs in RSI, which is textbook bearish divergence, which eventually the strength left the market and we had this pullback. Now we're seeing the exact opposite. So I'm seeing multiple indicators on multiple different time frames suggesting that the trend is shifting from bearish to bullish. Again, there's no volume, so we need volume to come into the market. Look at what direction the volume is going here, folks. The volume is clearly leaving the market. Now, there's multiple ways to draw this, but it basically means the exact same thing. Look at that volume. It is constantly decreasing. That is not what we want to see. We want to see a bullish breakout with volume here. But what I'm saying here, folks, with the daily RSI, not to get too distracted. Okay, clear trend line that's we've respected all throughout this cycle. So as soon as we break above this thing, folks, I think we could really see a crazy impulse. And it looks like we're testing it right now, to be honest. So this week, we could test that daily RSI resistance trend line. And if we break above this thing, oof, folks. If we break above that thing, we can get above that 50 daily SMA. If we can get above that 50 daily SMA, then we can test the 200 daily EMA. If we can test that 200 daily EMA, then we can make a higher high. If we make a higher high, it starts to look like a bull market. So again, folks, if we break above that trend line that we respected as resistance all throughout this cycle, I'm betting that's going to be pretty significant. Not to mention that stochastic RSI just had a bullish crossover, weighted MACD bullish crossover. So momentum on the weekly is bullish. Momentum on the daily is bullish. If we go over the 4 hour, 4 hours bullish but overextended, and we broke above the 21 daily SMA, we're testing the 21 daily EMA. If we can get daily candles closing above that EMA, basically 34,450, then we can test that 50 daily SMA. So folks, I'm optimistic. Especially if we have this Apple news. And again, just going to close off on the Apple news, folks. Just rumor. Might not happen. In fact, most likely thing is it won't happen. But if it does happen, you best betcha we're going to get some buy volume. So we'll see. News is supposed to come out tomorrow. So we'll see if that indeed manifests into anything. But for now, let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum seemingly lost the 21 EMA on the 6 hour, this green line here. So Ethereum has been short-term bearish in my opinion. Now, Ethereum is doing the same thing that Bitcoin did, which is performing, if we bust out our Bollinger Bands with a standard deviation of 2 and 3, we can see here how we're really tightening. And whenever Bollinger Bands tighten like that, we're not always, but we sometimes have an explosive move. And so it does seem like we're breaking up to the upside. If we can get back above that 21 EMA in the 6 hour, basically get back above, I'd say, $2,160, then Ethereum in that case starts to look short-term bullish again. So hopefully we can indeed do that. As long as Ethereum holds 2,000, I think Ethereum's bullish. And folks, the bears keep trying to drive Ethereum down. It keeps getting bought up. So, I mean, folks, the bears have been trying to take over, and buyers keep coming in. So, again, we'll see. But if we can hold 21 EMA in the 6 hours, that's very good for ETH. If we can get above the 21 EMA on the 200 EMA on the 10 hour, if we can get above, just say 2,400 for easy math. If we start getting higher time frame candles closing above 2,400, then folks, Ethereum is primed to see upside continuation. So we'll see. Currently, we're testing the short-term moving average 21 EMA on the 6 hour. If we can get above that, then ETH is back to being short-term bullish. Hopefully we can. Folks, smash that like button. Also, again, just the fact that ETH is just dramatically leaving exchanges is very bullish. The number of unique addresses on active on Ethereum has been steadily increasing. So there's been lots of bullish news behind Ethereum lately. So we'll see if that's his continuation. Now, I want to take a second to talk about DeFi and talk about altcoins, because folks, we're seeing a lot of altcoins pump. So it's very interesting. I don't want to get our hopes too obvious. Until Bitcoin recovers, then these alts pumping is super precarious, because If Bitcoin decides to take a nosedive, it's going to affect liquidity, it's going to affect pairings, it's going to affect market sentiment. And so these recoveries and these pumps may be short-lived, but we're seeing crazy pumps. We saw like Alpha do crazy. I'm glad I bought that for my portfolio, my paper portfolio. I'll give you guys an update on that. And so Uniswap, high cap blue chip DeFi play, doing good. If we can get above $22, that's a very good sign. In that case, I think we could see continuation, given that it looks like we're forming a bit of an ascending triangle here. Although ultimately, Uniswap above 2350 starts to look super, super healthy. So 2350, I do believe, is a critical inflection point. If we can get daily candles closing above that, Uniswap can see continuation. And why do we care about Uniswap? Because I believe Uniswap, Aave, and Synthetics, all three high cap DeFi blue chips, are doing very well. And if the high cap blue chips start to do very well, then the rest of DeFi can do very well. And if DeFi is doing very well, then it starts to look like the rest of the altcoin market can start to do very well. So we'll see if that happens. But Aave, project I bought the dip on, is doing very well. We're forming kind of this V-shaped recovery here. We flipped the 618 from resistance into support here at 271. That's good to see that it's got to hold. I think major resistance is here, kind of 330 to about 345. So from 335 to 345 is major resistance. Basically, this trend line from this low to this low to this low. Just continue that. We found rejection here and here as well. So maybe line that up a little bit better. Yeah, here we go. So I think this region likely to be resistance. Basically, if we make a higher high, if we get above 350, then Aave can see a shit ton of continuation. So Aave above 350 is an Aave that can see more upside potential for sure. And so Synthetics, folks, this thing has been pumping crazy. And I love this market because whales love to fake people out, folks. We broke below support, below our channel line. I'm sure stopping people out, spooking people out, and immediately got bought back up, breaking through critical resistance. So for me, folks, I do believe this channel is pretty relevant. So if we see a bullish breakout above this channel, a retest, then we could see plenty more upside. So we'll see if that does indeed happen. Aave, Uniswap, Synthetics, all three projects I'm bullish on. These are high cap blue chip DeFi plays. Folks, I believe these will act as leading indicators for the rest of DeFi and for the rest of the altcoin market. So if these continue to do well, then alts will do well. And if alts are doing 2, 3x's, 10x's, then it's hard to really argue that we're in a bear market. So let's give you guys a bit of a portfolio update here. So I did kind of spend the last of my cheddar on some projects. Now, I want to address two things here. There has been a recent hack with this one exchange that has affected a bunch of different projects. One of the projects it's affected, two projects that I own in real life and in this portfolio is Option Room and Blank. So I don't know the full extent of this hack. For my best understanding, there's this one exchange that got hacked, which affected a bunch of projects, one of them being Option Room and the other being Blank. These projects have dropped 85, 90%. I would not buy these right now because the teams are currently in the process of putting out a new token. So folks, if you're interested in these projects, I'm definitely not telling you to go buy these because they just got hacked and they're super sketchy and new and low cap to begin with. I would invite you to go follow them on Twitter. So unfortunately, yeah, so go follow them on Twitter. If you go to like CoinGecko and look up the project Blank, it'll lead you to their official Twitter here. So the reason why I like Blank in particular, for those who don't know, just to get you guys run up, is Blank is a privacy layer for kind of a wallet. So let me say this better. Blank is basically MetaMask, but with a privacy layer. Blank is a web wallet extension, just like MetaMask, except it processes your transactions through a pool, mixing it, and thus is kind of gives you some privacy. So I'm very bullish on Blank. There's a shit ton of users on MetaMask. If Blank ever gets any kind of similar users to MetaMask, I really think it could pump. So it's basically just MetaMask with a privacy feature. Unfortunately, they were hacked. So folks, I mean, I'm waiting out to really get a better understanding of what's going on. I'm sure the teams right now are kind of trying to figure out what's going on themselves. So I'll wait for further announcements. I do not buy right now. Wait for the project, for the teams to put out a new token, a new contract address if you're so interested. But folks, these were super risky to begin with. They've crashed in nothingness. So wait for kind of new smart contracts. But I just want to put that out there. If any of you guys did buy Option Room or Blank, there was a hack. I wouldn't be buying the current tokens on circulation. I'd be following the project's Twitters and wait for the teams to kind of put out further details on kind of new contract addresses and the like. So wait up for that. Very sad to see. It's affected me both in real life and in this paper portfolio. But thankfully, I did not invest much, so not too much of a loss here. It seems like some of the high caps, ETH, vechain are down, but Terra Luna has been doing very well. Folks, Instadap. This is another project that I mentioned a few live streams ago. And folks, this is why you gotta like and subscribe, because I bring you guys complete gold all the time. And so I want to take a second here to talk about what could be a very potentially undervalued DeFi play. So I want to take a second to talk about Instadap. So I was looking here on DeFi Llama, and I was like, hey, there's this project that has a very similar amount of total value locked to Aave, and I've never heard of it. So I'm like, how did a project just come out of nowhere I've never heard of, have basically the same or very similar amount of total value locked as Aave? And when it comes to DeFi, one metric people use to kind of try and figure out if something's overvalued or undervalued, typically speaking, not always, and this is kind of dubious, but one thing people can do is if you compare the market cap to the total value locked, basically the higher the total value locked, plus the lower the market cap, the more undervalued. Because look, Instadap had a market cap of like 100 million, but basically as much TVL as Aave. That's crazy. It's basically telling you, the market trusts this protocol. The market's placing their money in this protocol. So how is it that this project that is a fraction of the market cap as Aave has almost the same amount of value locked? A couple days ago it was like 9 billion and 9 billion. It was just about the same. So I did a bit more research on this project, and I do find it very interesting. So Instadap is created by these two brothers. I don't know where they're from, but these two young guys, they're like 20 years old, created this project that has billions of dollars locked within the protocol. And so what Instadap is, it's basically kind of the 1 inch of DeFi, where if for those who know, 1 inch is an exchange aggregator. It routes your trades all throughout a bunch of different exchanges to try and get you the best rates. And so Instadap is a very similar concept but applied to DeFi, where Instadap is kind of one dashboard where you can kind of do some DeFi stuff all throughout different ecosystems. So you can do Aave DeFi, Maker DeFi, Compound DeFi, Uniswap DeFi, all through one dashboard. So think of Instadap as a kind of DeFi aggregator. So hey, that's a super interesting concept. So given that I did a little bit of research, I like the concept, I love the concept, like the team, I bought into this thing both in real life and for my paper portfolio. Although one giant caveat that I got to bring up with this project specifically is that Instadap, their token Inst, is purely a governance token. So Instadap is purely governance. So their token has very little utility. You can't really stake it to the best of my knowledge. You can't do a whole lot with it. So far, my best understanding is that Inst token is purely 100% just governance. And tokens that are just governance and lack utility don't really do very well very often. So this might be an outlier case, given that a lot of people like the project, who knows? But I think this project their token is lacking a lot of utility. They gotta have staking. They gotta have something that incentivizes holders to hold. Because if it's just pure governance alone, not as appealing. So is it the end of the world? Maybe not, but it's just something you guys gotta be aware of. I see Christopher saying 1 inch is a DeFi protocol, though. Bro, just saying. Yes, I am very aware that 1 inch is a DeFi protocol. DeFi is a very umbrella term. I mean, you could say everything's DeFi. Every cryptocurrency is DeFi. At the end of the day, it's an umbrella term. I think decentralized finance should be more applicable to these kind of borrowing and lending protocols, these kind of liquidity providing protocols, more hardcore DeFi, like Aave is hardcore DeFi, Instadap is hardcore DeFi. Yes, an exchange is DeFi, but it's kind of like an umbrella term. So yes, I am aware that 1inch is DeFi. But yeah, with that being said, I do believe there is a distinction between a DeFi exchange and a protocol that's purely lending and borrowing and liquidity providing aggregation. I think it's a bit more hardcore DeFi. It is up 47% since I bought it. I'm actually somewhat tempted to take profits on it, to be honest. And you know what, for you guys, let's take a look at the chart here. I want to see. I remember having a tough time looking this up. I probably wouldn't be buying right now just because it's pumped. Let's see if I can actually find the ticker and do a bit of TA on this, because this is an interesting project, but it has pumped quite a lot. So no, it's not here. I'm having a tough time looking this up. Let's see. No, it's not popping up. Let's give it one more try, see if we can do some charting on this. And folks, in the meanwhile, like and subscribe. Okay, here we go. We found it. Smash that like button. No need to panic. No need to FOMO. Let's see what's going on here. So, let's look at the price action. Okay. Is this it? I don't think this is it. What's the price at? It's at 885. Okay, it might be it, yeah. Okay. These charts are so weird, man. Alright. Here we go. Oh my god. This is a cup and handle. This is the clearest cup and handle I've ever seen. Oh my god, this is... folks. I actually might buy more. This is a cup and handle. This is the easiest, clearest cup. Oh my god, folks, look at this cup. I mean, folks, does it get any easier than this? Clear resistance here at $8. Cup, handle, super clear. Price target, height of the cup, to the bottom of the cup. Move that to the breakout point. I could easily see this thing going to $13. Easily. So, best case scenario is I would want to see a pullback and then retest $8. And if we can hold $8, then I think we're primed to see $13. This is clearly a cup and handle. But again, folks, I would not go full million into this thing. There's massive caveats. It is purely a governance token, to the best of my understanding. Purely governance tokens typically don't do crazy well. Bitcoin could decide to crash tomorrow. So if it crashes tomorrow, you best believe it's probably going to crash as well. So move forward with caution, like the project. If they get some more utility, I'll probably buy more. This does clearly look like a cup and handle, and I would not be the least bit surprised if we go from, let's say, $12 to $13. Would not be surprised at all. So, folks, that's pretty much it's getting late on my end here. I think I'm gonna sort of wrap it up. That's pretty much mostly what I had in mind here, unless you guys have any kind of last words or questions you guys want me to address. If not, that's pretty much it for me, folks. I want to remind you guys, please, before I let you guys go, like and subscribe. Become a Patreon member. You'll get access to our VIP Discord group, where we talk about kind of the yield farming opportunities we're taking advantage of, staking, buying the dip. Whenever we buy the dip on anything, we let our members know. So make sure you definitely check that out. What's Mo saying? Can you talk about ETH miners, MEV pools? I'm not aware, man. ETH miners and MEV pools. Why are ETH miners leaving? ETH miners are leaving because ETH is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. So, again, I don't know how much you know, but Ethereum is currently proof of work, similar to Bitcoin, where you have hardware, these computers running calculations, and that's how you mint new coins. But soon, Ethereum will move to a proof of stake model, where you just have to stake your Ethereum in a smart contract, and that's how Ethereum will be produced moving forward. So if you're saying Ethereum miners are leaving, it makes a lot of sense, because Ethereum is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. So eventually all miners will leave, all Ethereum miners will leave, and for the best, folks. The more and more I think about it, the more I like proof of stake over proof of work. Proof of stake, I mean, I've heard so many arguments from Kevin Hart to, not Kevin Hart, Richard Hart, the Hex guy. From Richard Hart to Vitalik Buterin himself to, what's the, Charles Hodgkinson's. I've heard all of them talk about proof of work versus proof of stake. And the more I hear about it, the more I'm convinced of proof of stake is superior to proof of work. Not to mention, it's just, proof of work is just completely unnecessary energy consumption when you have proof of stake. So Mo is also saying, so will this make ETH die? So Mo is saying, so will the transition from proof of work to proof of stake make ETH die? What other coins will they mine? So Mo, no, Ethereum will not die from proof of. It will become vastly better, in my opinion. So, Mo, Ethereum right now is going through a massive transition process from ETH to Ethereum 2.0. Ethereum 2.0 aims to improve a lot of the problems with Ethereum. Number one, making it scalable, increasing the transactions per second, cheapening the gas fees, making the gas fees a lot less, and fixing the tokenomics, making Ethereum deflationary instead of inflationary as it is right now. And so Ethereum 2.0 is a series of a bunch of improvements, all at different kind of stages. So Ethereum is making a bunch of improvements, a bunch of changes. They're not happening all at once. They're being spread out over the course of years, and all these different improvements are all kind of lumped into Ethereum 2.0. And so one of these major improvements of the Ethereum 2.0 process is moving from proof of work to proof of stake. Ethereum will still stick around. The only change that will come from moving from proof of work to proof of stake is that Ethereum will become vastly more energy efficient, and the miners won't be able to mine ETH anymore, but that's fine. Instead of Ethereum being produced by miners, Ethereum will just be produced through staking. So right now, people have to stake 32 Ethereum, and if you stake 32 Ethereum, you'll earn between like 4 and 15% APY a year, and that's how ETH will be produced moving forward. So it's far more energy efficient, and it's, according to a lot of people, far more secure. So this transition from proof of work to proof of stake is one of the many major transitions within the Ethereum 2.0 kind of roadmap. Another one of these major improvements is, for those who don't know, is EIP 1559, the London hard fork. So EIP stands for Ethereum Improvement Proposal. 1559 is one of the biggest EIPs in the London hard fork. There's actually like 5 EIPs in the London hard fork, which is happening like next month. And so people typically refer to just EIP 1559, but there's actually many EIPs within the London hard fork. So in the London hard fork, which is coming next month, one of the biggest EIPs is the fact that Ethereum will become deflationary. So right now, Ethereum is inflationary. The supply is about 115 million, and it's always increasing. But after this proposal goes through next month, the amount of Ethereum over time will actually decrease, thus making it harder money than Bitcoin. One of the many reasons as to why I'm a lot more bullish on ETH over long term than Bitcoin. I don't own any Bitcoin. Ethereum is my safe bet for the long term. Again, not financial advice, it's just my opinion. Some people might disagree with me, that's fine. Everyone kind of has a difference of opinion. That's all well and good. I just think Ethereum is vastly superior because Bitcoin's kind of like a boomer coin. I heard someone, I'm stealing that from someone, that Bitcoin's a boomer coin. It really is. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change. It's digital gold. Bitcoin is digital gold. That's all well and good. But Ethereum is utility. Ethereum does stuff. Ethereum is a smart contract protocol that will allow basically whatever blockchain utility to be built on top of it. And so the reason why you'd also want to do it on Ethereum is because you get the scalability and security of the Ethereum ecosystem. Because why would you not build out some kind of smart contract functionality yourself within some internal blockchain? It's because you run into a lot of scalability issues, a lot of gas issues, and a lot of security issues. So blockchains or sorry, smart contracts and these other protocols and these other tokens being built on top of Ethereum want to, because if you do so, you get the scalability of Ethereum and you get the security of the network. So there's a lot of reasons to think that Ethereum will be the layer that all blockchain utility will be built on top of moving forward. And look, it has a lot of competitors, Polkadot, Cardano, Elrond, and there's dozens and dozens, Solana's out there, BNB, and they'll all have their use case and they'll all have their users. But Ethereum is the leader in its niche. And it's likely to be the leader moving forward. So Ethereum's likely to become scalable within this year and next year, increasing the transactions per second, lowering the gas fees, lowering the transaction fees, and becoming deflationary instead of inflationary. Thus, I think we'll have it set up to be the leader in the smart contract blockchain ecosystem moving forward for the years to come. And I think we'll set it up to eventually overtake Bitcoin in terms of market cap, because I think blockchain utility has a greater use case than digital gold. So that's my argument, that's my thesis, that's the live stream. Folks, like and subscribe and stay hydrated, and stay more hydrated than messing.